got a problem. We 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 got a problem. Yeah, that's probably you. Yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem. Yeah, we got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem. Yo, what's poppin'? Cobra Star Green back with you guys in the building. Your first time finding our channel, you guys definitely hit the subscribe button. Also the video, yes. As you guys see from our scroll today, this will be a full-on spoiler review. So if you guys have seen the movie, stick around. But if you guys don't want to be spoiled or anything like that, click away, please. But we are about to spoil the new Spider-Man No Way Home featuring Tom Holland and a couple more characters. So we'll talk about them really quickly. Now, before I was going to the movie, people were talking about this might be Tom Holland's best performance he's ever showcased on any type of movie. And with the movies I've seen him do so far, I gotta agree here. Man, y'all don't understand. His performance you see in this film is one of a kind. Like, there's so much emotional things attached to him, certain stuff. Aunt May dies in the film, it's all attached to him, and you just see like he's just completely going through it. He's just completely torn. Now, go ahead and talk about him real quick.
Yeah, so the best thing about this movie is surprisingly not just the multiverse gimmick, even though that is a major great part of this movie. You feel the weight of the consequences. You feel the struggle that Spider-Man is going through.
Yeah.
You feel it. And you feel the violence inflicted.
Yeah, because pretty much, let's be real, man. This is all completely Tom Holland's fault. Now, the reason how all these supervillains come through is because of the fact that the spell that him and Doctor Strange are trying to do, that you guys have just seen like throughout the trailer and stuff like that. But you see him trying to complete this spell. But what goes wrong with this spell, because Peter Parker keeps talking, is the fact that the people that do come through are people that actually know who Peter Parker is. You know what I'm saying? So
that was an excellent way of
I think that was a great way of
conveying.
Yes.
Well, why specifically that?
Why? So you know, why is Sandman here? Because he knew who Peter Parker was. Why is a Lizard here? Because he knew who Peter Parker was. Why is Dr. Octopus here? Because he knew who Peter Parker was. I think that was a great job.
And the great thing is they kept in line with the characters' motivations and their thought processes from those movies. Sandman, you know, starts by helping out Tom Holland's Spider-Man with getting Electro, like, and then Doc Ock or whatever, like, it is showing why his mind frame is like how it is, like, and they really keep to that.
Yes, especially like whenever Doc Ock is first introduced. Yeah. And he's just like, yo, wait a minute, you're not my Peter Parker. And even when, like you said, when Sandman gets introduced, he's like, yo, I'm helping you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like last time I remember fighting one of you, I was on your side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So especially in this part, scene right here where Sandman ends up helping out Peter Parker. And it actually makes sense. Now, my biggest fear is for people that had not seen the originals, how they're gonna be like, who the heck is that? Who the heck is that? You know what I'm saying?
It's funny
that's
though.
That's gonna be weird.
It's funny though, because even without seeing it, I feel like they explain their thought process and motivations pretty well.
That's true.
Like, you can kind of get a gist of like who they are as characters. You don't have the full story, you don't have the full picture, but you got a general gist to understand what's going on.
Now, you know what I'm gonna say though? I know there was a lot of villains we seen in this film and stuff like that, but I gotta mention my favorite. And it's actually, I have two of my favorites. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed both of these people a lot. First person I want to talk about is Dr. Octavius. I think he was great because not only is he great in the film and how he sticks to how he was in the original, but it's like the motivations you see there with him. It's like, look, I used to be like, at the end of the second one, he was like, look, I've seen a new leaf. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a new light. Now you see in this one, he's sticking to that path. You know what I'm saying? So he's not really with the other villains like that. So I did like that performance, especially, man, great performance, Dr. Octavius. Yes. Great job. Go ahead.
Everyone does a fantastic. I think everyone brings their A game. Everyone, like even.
Go ahead and talk about him real quick. How'd you like his?
Doc Ock, yeah, perfect. Definitely like in line with his character. At first, I was kind of confused why, you know, but like they explain it, it's the arms mostly, and then they explain why the nanotech would, you know, stabilize him and stuff like that. I like.
It was crazy how he knew who nanotech was, though. He knew what that was. Remember when he first gets hit, he's like, "Oh, nice nanotechnology." So,
I guess nanotech was always kind of a theory-based kind of thing, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is. I loved how they did Doc Ock. They served him justice. That was one of my concerns. I was like, I hope they don't mess up, and they did not.
God,
They did not. They delivered.
Man, you know who my favorite character in the film? I'm gonna say, I don't know about the entire film. My favorite villain gotta be William Dafoe, man. Oh my gosh. Now, let me showcase you guys. Most of the film, he is not in this mask at all. You see that he's completely de-aged. Now, I would say, with some of the characters looking de-aged, it didn't look right, because like William Dafoe, on a couple of scenes, I was like, I could see it. And especially another character we're gonna talk about, a big spoiler we're gonna talk about in just a second. I didn't like his particular CGI also in his face, but
it's mostly easy though. Like, it's mostly easy on the eyes.
Yeah, but I will say, man, when it came to William Dafoe in this movie, he did such a great job. I did not think he could top his performance you see in Spider-Man 1, and he beats it here. I think
Believe me, he tops it. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I think by the end of this movie, especially that last fight with Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin,
yeah, because he's pretty much
he feels more like Tom Holland's villain by that point.
Yeah,
because it's just like he did the most damage to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, not even Tobey Maguire's.
Because if you see the movie, you know what? There's not really a main villain here. Pretty much, it's William Dafoe. He's his inner self. That inner self you see in the first movie, that's the villain here.
And like, here's the best thing about his performance. His performance is like goofy, but it's also just like sinister.
He starts out first. He's like, "Yo, hey, what's up, man?" He's chilling with Aunt May. He's like, "Hey, what's up, y'all?" But then like that evil self just takes over, and I thought he did such a great job.
And like, oh, dude, that scene where it's just like his spider sense is tingling. And he's like, I don't know what's wrong, and then he's like,
he's just walking around.
It's Green Goblin's change of like he senses. Oh my gosh,
it's such a great job of like showcasing his spider tingling.
Yes.
Without like showing it. Cause we were also confused. Even like, not only were we confused, but the villains were confused. They're like, "Yo, what the heck are you doing, Tom Holland?" And he's like, he just webs William Dafoe, and it's like, because he realizes that that evil self has taken back over.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, William Dafoe. I'm so glad he came back. Now, what I would have wished from this movie is that none of the leaks would have came out, because I think it would have been so much better. Now, I know that the theater we were in, everybody was super excited, especially when Daredevil showed up for his little time being, his little quick scene. Actually, if you really think about it, that scene was really for nothing, because now he doesn't even know who Tom Holland is anymore.
It's just nice to see him.
Yeah, just nice.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll say
it's nice.
It's a way to bring him into the MCU.
I'm sure in the future, maybe eventually he'll show up in a Spider-Man. Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe as a side little thing. I don't know. We'll see. It's just nice to see him.
Yeah, like them, like literally, like he's in the film for literally like 2 seconds. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be your lawyer," and then he pretty much just bounces. But it's just a way to say, "Hey, you're in the MCU now." That's what it was.
As a Daredevil stan, yes, one of my favorite moments of the film. One of the lower favorite moments, because this film just brings out the heat constantly.
Man,
but yeah,
you talking
it's
about
amazing.
The heat. Now, there was rumors this was gonna happen, and we seen the other villain show up, but we wasn't 100% sure this was gonna happen. But whenever Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showed up on screen, I will say the CGI on Tobey did not look that good, did not look the best. I would say there was something wrong with his CGI, and I like how they came out one by one. Like, Andrew came out first because he was the last movie, and then Tobey came out second because he was the one before that.
Yeah.
Oh my! Cause I didn't know which one that was first. Like, whenever he pops up first, you're like, which one is this?
And them getting to know each other was cool.
Yes, and I was so glad they gave us kind of like a scene like this in the movie a little bit, where they're all talking to one another about the universes. I wondered if it was gonna come up the wedge shooter thing with Tobey Maguire. I wondered if that was gonna come up, and it did. They were like, "Yo, that thing is coming out of you." I was so glad that we had moments. My favorite part of the movie with these two.
I would say Tom Holland's performance in this is so good that I'm debating in my head if, at least for Spider-Man, one of the best Spider-Man performances of all time, it might be just as good as Andrew Garfield's crying scenes in like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and stuff like that. Like, his performance is like, you can see the pain.
Man, you're talking about. Now, a couple other things did get leaked before the movie came out, and I was trying to step away from these because I didn't want to see this one.
Yeah.
But Aunt May ends up dying in this film, and at the same time she ends up dying, she ends up giving out that line. I thought it would come later, but I guess it came now with that great, what was it? Great responsibility.
Great power comes great responsibility.
And so she's the one that say it. Kind of how the same way Uncle Ben said it to Toby. So I think that goes very well. And I was like, they were talking about emotional moments, and I was like, I don't know what can be emotional, maybe happy dying, but seeing how Aunt May died, though, that was emotional, man. And you can just see whenever she died, it completely broke Tom Holland.
To me, it was more impactful than the Uncle Ben death in the beginning. More impactful.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if it's more impactful than that
the
one.
first movie.
Uncle Ben was crazy.
The first movie.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I think Uncle Ben is a little bit higher up, cause she's not really, she's just kind of there. But Uncle Ben was like a freaking father figure. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I choose Uncle Ben to higher.
We'll have to debate this later, because
Right.
I'm in this movie. That's the other thing. Aunt May in this movie, way better
She
than
steps up. Yeah, she does,
than
there's a lot
the
more
last
for her
two
to do.
movies.
There's,
You can
there's a lot more
there's
for
a
her
lot
to do in this film.
more for her to do, and just this movie alone, like, it solidifies her as my favorite Aunt May. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Just this movie alone.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
with
like you could make a case where she would have been the worst one. Not that she was bad in the last two movies, but like it didn't. You didn't feel the weight as much. But in this one, her performance more than sells me on like that being an argument at least.
Yeah, I think she did. She did great.
She knocked it out of the park.
She did great. Now, man, something else I want to talk about, and then we'll get into like the post-credit scene, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. But I want to talk about some things, man. Look, for them to actually pull off this movie was something crazy. Like,
It's a miracle.
To bring in all of these villains, the nostalgia throughout this movie is freaking out. Nostalgia blew out the damn park. Literally, they took nostalgia to a whole nother level in this film. You get all these original characters from all of these different movies, and I think they were done so well. I think Jamie Foxx was done so well because he's kind of in line with his character. Like, yo, you know what? I kind of like this new power. I kind of want to stay here.
Yeah.
Sandman still the same way he was in the first. What was it? The third movie. The original. Lizard, he's the same way. Oh, and I heard that they brought all the directors together to do this.
Yeah,
one.
they brought in cinematographers and some of the directors to like kind of give tips and tricks and all that to capture the feel of those movies too. And the villains, yeah.
And I think they did, especially when that first bomb pops up from Green Goblin. I think they did such a great job. And I would say another character did a great job. And you don't really see too much of him. He's kind of the same way what boy named Iron Man was in the first movie. I'm talking about Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. I think he did great, but he wasn't. I was glad that he wasn't in the movie, like in the movie.
And they give a good reason why too.
Yeah, because he got trapped.
And it was awesome because I was like, man, Spider-Man had to like fight for that too. And I was like, cool, sweet. So not only is there a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why Doctor Strange can't OP the situation out, there's a good conflict between them. You know
what I'm gonna say though?
It's crazy. Yeah.
I was right when I had said, remember how early on we both looked at a particular scene and we were like, I wonder if that's gonna mean something more or something else in the film. And I'm talking about this scene right here.
Yeah, that was a moment.
We ended up finding out, and I was thinking the same thing. I bet you Andrew is the one to save her, and that was true. And it was such a redeemable moment because even in the theater, everybody was clapping because it's like he didn't get to save Gwen, but he gets to save MJ.
I swore. Andrew's face after saving her too, he was breaking.
He was
down.
tired. He's tearing up. Yeah.
Oh my god, the performances in this movie. They're so good. It's one of the best. Honestly, if we're capturing like the emotion of like a lot of these characters, oh man, everyone's just killing it here.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about something really quickly.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're gonna set this up. I wonder if they're trying to set this up. But if you guys have seen the movie and stuff like that, and you watch throughout the film, I'm pretty sure they're setting up something with Ned. I think they're setting up some stuff because he was messing with the Sorcerer Supreme and stuff like that, and they were talking about how what was it? Andrew was talking about how it was Toby talking about how he had to kill his best friend and stuff because he turned on him. So I wonder if I don't know if they're gonna go that same route with Ned, just in the future. Not right now, but in the future.
Well,
I think they're gonna set that up.
We know that. I have two theories. One theory is that yes, they can utilize Ned and MJ in the future.
I think Zendaya did such a great job, especially because they make her look super young in this damn film.
Oh, also, yeah, she killed it. Yeah, best MJ performance in a while. Yeah, in general, like just love interest, just since like the Gwen Stacy character. Yeah, and then Ned, I think
they're gonna set up something with Ned. There's
you
no
can
way.
set up like a conflict like that in the future, but I'm thinking to myself, what character? Because he wouldn't be like a Hobgoblin character.
No, he would.
That's
what.
But he's using magic, right? Does Hobgoblin use magic?
But I'm just saying,
I don't
like,
remember.
He can get a little.
He'll
tricky.
do something.
But the thing is now, because if you guys seen the end of the film, no one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. Tom Holland doesn't even come to tell his best friends who he is anymore.
I think he made the decision not to do that.
Yeah.
So that I have two theories on that. On one theory, because the actors themselves, they said, we don't know if we're coming back. So they said it almost felt like the end of a franchise for them. They're like, we don't know if we're coming back. So on one theory, maybe they're just done with the characters. Peter Parker thinks so, especially when he looks at the Band-Aid on her head and he's like, is that, like, does that hurt still?
Yeah.
Or blah, blah, blah. And he's probably reprioritizing because he puts up the note and he's like, I don't want to involve them anymore. Like, they're going to get hurt or whatever. They're going to get killed.
He might just leave him out of it.
So he's like, for them, for their sake, for their health or whatever, even though this hurts, like, I gotta drop this. So Ned would probably come back as like a rival or a villain somehow in the future.
That's what I think was gonna happen. I think they're gonna bring
and then
for a
I
villain.
think in general, I think either they're just gone completely or they'll utilize Ned. But I don't know what they'll do with MJ at all, if anything.
You know what's crazy? Because you know how Doctor Strange comes out after this. I was thinking that they could continue with the other two Spider-Man in the film, and they just bring him over with Doctor Strange. But I guess they just F that. Now go back to your universe.
I don't. Yeah. It'd be cool in a fan service way, but at the same time, it's like, how does that make sense? You know, blah blah blah. But,
yeah, but before we get into our ending, ending and stuff like that, I just want to talk about really quickly one last thing, man. I know we talked about it, but these three on film, their chemistry together was so good. Like, oh my gosh, like y'all have to see it for yourself if you have already seen it or something like that.
It's honestly better than what your dream.
Yeah, like I had thought maybe. Okay,
I'm not gonna lie, it's like there's moments where it's like this shouldn't work. This line of dialogue should be more corny and cringy, but it doesn't. It just feels right.
And they were both funny too. Like sticking to Peter Parker as a character. Oh my god, this was so much fan. This is nothing but fan service right here.
It's good fan service too. Like
But yeah, and now I want to talk about something real quick. This is a post-credit scene talk and stuff like that. But well, we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer before Venom can officially join the MCU, because if you guys seen the post-credit scene, he's in it, and then they ship his ass back, go back. but it sets up something. It sets up maybe you could have Venom be a part of Tom Holland, just kind of maybe like how he was in the third
part
movie.
of that Venom. Like maybe like a Carnage kind of thing. Not Carnage exactly, but you know what I mean, like a new Venom.
But
so
much,
that's pretty cool. That's a good way of introducing at least Venom itself, not Eddie Brock.
We're gonna have to wait on this one. This gonna be a little. I thought maybe like they would set it up throughout here, but then I was saying at the same time, all these villains went back to their home world. So how is he still here?
In a story way,
okay,
I like this approach.
You know, something doesn't make sense to me. Okay.
Yeah.
So all of these villains were here because they knew Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
How the heck did Tom Hardy get here? Because he doesn't know who the heck he doesn't know who Peter Parker is.
Oh no, I think it's the way it works is like, in general, if Peter Parker, if like all the characters that potentially know who Peter Parker is, Spider-Man, like Eddie Brock in another universe. Remember in Tobey's universe, the Eddie Brock in that one knew who Spider-Man was. He knew Spider-Man was Peter Parker. So I think they just say, because that's why Doctor Strange also said, I can't contain them. And there's like he said there's like an infinite amount of
there was some Easter eggs.
So
right
like
there. There's definitely some Easter eggs. Right
there was like Rhino. You can notice Rhino. So he's like, I can't contain. So they take. It's probably randomized or some shit too, in that world or whatever. So like one of those potential people is just a different version of Eddie Brock, who this version doesn't know who Peter Parker is and Spider-Man is, but there is versions that do. And like in general, the way it works is just like we're gonna send down Eddie Brock, just cause this character in another universe. I don't know how specifically the spell works, but I imagine something like that.
Yeah, man. I was kind of like bummer because I want to see them fight, but I guess it'll just happen later
I
on.
think we will eventually.
It'll happen
It's
later.
just-
They'll set it up.
I want them to organically make that work though, like the narrative of like how these two
Okay,
meet. You
so
know
I
what I
guess
mean?
I
Like
guess
I
they
don't want to
fight-
force it.
I guess if they were to meet up now, they would just be friends. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't think it would work if like they met and it's like, oh, like I saw you on the TV, or like they have no like natural connection. Yeah, I just want them to organically make that work. And maybe he forgot who Peter Parker was by that point too.
Maybe.
So, or maybe he didn't because he got transported to another universe.
I don't
Maybe?
know. That's weird. That's just weird.
Oh, he probably didn't because he got transported to another universe. Anyway, point is, we'll see.
All right, so let's go in on our ratings. We might do another video on this too. But man, my expectations for this movie were very, very, very high. I didn't think it was gonna be able to top it, especially with all the leaks surrounding the movie. I thought it was gonna end up killing the movie, but I think it might have made it a little bit better. I don't know. It's just hit or miss depending on who you are. I think this movie exceeded expectations for me, man.
Yeah.
The performances from every single actor you get here, I felt like everybody wanted to be here. Everything made sense. Why the freak Doc Ock was here made sense. Now I would have wished they would have kept all the villains secret because in the movie it would have been cooler to see that way.
Yeah.
But whatever. Here we are. We find out that all the villains are here. And I think all their motivations were completely justified from previous films. I don't really have any complaints here.
So-
wait, hold on. Really quick. I did not think this movie would be so emotional. This is the most emotional film when it comes to Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, hands down, easy.
Definitely the most emotional. So I did not see that coming at all. And I will say I was very pleased with this one. I'm giving this one a 9.5 out of 10. The only complaint I have is that you have all these villains, but I feel like they didn't really do a lot. You know what I'm saying? They're kind of like, especially in the third act, they're kind of just getting beat up by Spider-Man all the time, except for William Dafoe. But other than that, I had no complaints there. 9.5 out of 10. My favorite movie of the year. Go ahead.
Okay, so this movie could have easily been a disaster. Easily. The fact this movie works at all, is good at all, is a miracle. But I think this is one of the best MCU movies ever. Just off a first watch. This is the hype talking. But I genuinely think after the dust has settled and the hype has died down, I think we'll still be saying that. Because this movie was just everything MCU Tom Holland kind of lacked a little bit. The Spidey lacked a little bit. They enhanced it and just worked and made that their benefits.
This is one of those movies you see in a theater with a bunch of people.
Yeah, the movie is rewarding.
Yeah.
The movie's fan service is amazing. The movie has great
Yes,
dialogue, great character moments, great consequences. Action is amazing. Some of
the best action in the MCU.
the action was brutal.
Oh my
It was
God, oh my
violent. It
gosh.
felt like oh my gosh, like Green Goblin, amazing, top tier. I think I'm probably gonna put him over Thanos. I'm so.
No.
I already had him very close. Just the Spider-Man 1 version. He might.
Nah.
He might not.
I don't think he's over Thanos.
Oh, on a personal stakes level, to me, like in that kind of way, yeah, for me personally.
Okay.
I think this movie's incredible. Objective rating, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. There's a couple things where I'm like,
What is it?
could have done better.
Go.
Okay, a couple dialogue moments, a couple CGI moments, and I'd say there was a moment here or there where I'm like, all right, like we don't need this to linger a little bit more. I guess we'll get into that at a different date, but I gotta see the movie again. I don't want to make a hard stance on anything. So subjective rating 13 out of 10. This is like a
What the hell?
perfect experience, bro. This is my dream movie. This is my dream
I think
movie.
everybody that goes into this movie will come out pleased and will come out satisfied and happy. I will say that. That's our ratings, man. If you guys have seen the movie, please let us know your thoughts on it down below. Y'all first time finding our channel, hit the subscribe button. We are doing a lot of movie reviews on here and stuff like that. But hey, with saying that, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.